Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been another week, and Gundam G Quarks is reaching its inevitable conclusion. And this episode is full of a whole host of different twists and turns, and I'm sorry if you hear singing in the background. I'm currently on holiday, and the hotel I'm staying in, or the one next to it, is currently playing their entertainment, and they're a bit loud. But anyway, back onto the subject matter at hand. Yeah, Gundam G Quarks has certainly been one of the most interesting Gundam shows ever. Everything from What If Zeon won the 1 Year War, but then, of course, the usual power dynamics and games and schemes of both Cassilia and Garen. And we finally know what Degran meant when he said, God knows what she's planning. Yeah, that unto itself is a fascinating idea. We now know what her plan is. Well, her plan was, one, eliminate Garen so she can take control of Zeon, and then wipe out all life on Earth. Just so that humanity can finally literally live in space in peace. Or at least that's the idea. But beside that, this episode has really been something interesting. First twist of all beyond anything is the fact of Machu and Yan actually squaring off against each other. And it's not lovers' quarrel or something like that. In actual fact, it is literally just about Machu trying to save the Rose of Sharon, and Yan using it to basically bring about the vision that Cassilia told her. But of course, Yan is a traumatized refugee, and Machu is basically just still coming to grips with it. And at the same time, or rather going further down the road, Shunji is still alive, or at least his spirit is, and he guides Machu to the reservoir. But before that, to the theatre, but as that's going on, and as Yan follows them, Cassilia actually confronts the scientist we met earlier, and it turns out for a fact that it is actually Char, once again in yet another disguise. Carsfall is a so good at disguising himself. He just needs to flip his hair around, and all of a sudden he's a completely different man. But anyway, he comes back, and while his plan to eliminate Azabis has pretty much been put on hold for obvious reasons, like him being teleported across space and him trying to figure out his next plan of action, his next move is basically as Machu tries to and falls into the room, and then Yan comes crashing in her Gundam. Things get off to a very chaotic mess. In the confusion, Char grabs Machu and, well, basically just down a hole, and Yan asks if Lady Cassilia is alright. Then, as Machu and Char fall down a shaft, Char somehow hitting a wall and not breaking his back, as he absorbs the impact, they then proceed down yet another hole towards the Rose of Sharon. And then there comes another Zen Nova event, but even before that, it turns out for a fact the Omega Psychomy symbol of the Gundam G Quarks has a limiter, and Machu releases that limiter before her fight with Yan, and basically manages to pull off part of the Rose of Sharon and breaks basically the thing that keeps it in there. Basically, Lala and the Elmeth are frozen in time, and gradually as the battle goes on, Yan is able to, at least Machu is able to break the seal or weaken it enough that normal time is starting to be restored. And as the episode drags on, it gets very, very intense, very, very quickly. Machu basically finds herself having to deal with yet another case of stuff going wrong. Now, she's seen Char, and it turns out the Red Gundam was teleported to basically to the same set as well. And it turns out for a fact I was right, at least in my theory. Char and Shunji met, and Shunji either took or borrowed, or Char gave him the Red Gundam for some yet unknown purpose. And he even said the fact that Shunji is even a bigger Newtype than him. But also at the same time, Char reveals his reasons for creating all of this. He's sending Lala and the Elmeth back to their own dimension because the two Alpha Psychomy systems in this dimension are resonating because the Elmeth was never built, as its Psychomy system, which was complete, was transferred into the Gundam, RX-78-2, this universe's version of it, so Char could use its bits, and Lala remained in the brothel, or this universe's version. Meanwhile, the Prime Universe, Lala will call her, Elmeth and her Psychomy system are resonating, and that's what's been causing the Zen Nova events. Meanwhile, at the same time, Machu is not going to let anyone hurt the Prime Lala, and she goes off to try and confront Char, as he basically says it's dangerous because they'll have to go back with Zen Novas will keep occurring, and they're already causing quite a fair bit of untold damage. Then, as she tries to grapple with all this, Lala starts waking up, and Shunji's there as well, and basically, as everything starts spiraling, because Yan and Cassilia have a confrontation, and as Cassilia tries to shoot Machu, Yan shoots her in the back, and then she tries to shoot Yan, but her Gundam blocks the attack. And then Yan gets into her Gundam and flies off. And then finally, Shunji explains in the massive Kira Kira while Charlie Bull and Xavier, after destroying Cassilia's large portion of her Newtype forces, engage Xavier in a long-range battle, both pilots basically not being able to land a hit on each other. Then Xavier by sheer skill and Charlie Bull by experience and Newtype power. And as everything goes along the way, Kira Kira becomes its strongest ever. And Charlie Bull says, in the Kira Kira, Newtype's powers in their universe reach their peak, or cognition. And it just goes from there. It gets very good very quickly. Very good. Yeah. Shunji basically states the reason why he's actually from the other side of the Prime Gundam timeline. And his mission, his purpose in the other universe is to destroy it. The world that the Prime Lala created when she was somehow flung across space, time, and dimensions. And it turns out that Newtype powers are able to communicate through space, time, and even other universes. And as it happens, as he says the final quote, the original Prime Universe Gundam, Ark 2, appears at the end of the episode, wrapping it all up. This episode, I think, has been one of the best thus far already. I've never quite seen anything else like it in terms of Gundam as a whole. And Gundam has been rising up, but I think it's a good one both for new people getting into Gundam and for fans alike, because they finally can answer that question, what happens if someone won the 1 year war? But the best thing about the whole episode is the fact, yes, now it's coming to an end, and yes, the original Gundam has popped up, so we might see the Red Gundam fight the original, just for the hell of it. Yeah, and things just keep going on and on and on. Can the Ark 2 original be stopped from destroying and tearing apart the universe? Or will Machu be able to save her universe? Or will she end up in the Prime timeline with the G Quarks? We may yet never know. I've been the Universal Challenger. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio!